What is up, Dragon Ballers? Today I'm coming to you with my Nationals deck profile. I took U7 Red Gohan to the event, finishing 6 and 3. Missed out on top 16, unfortunately. Two out of my three losses were Green Gohan. I wish I would have tested the matchup more. I think it's definitely very beatable with this deck. I just wasn't as prepared for the matchup as I should have been. And then my other loss was to Zenkai 21. So I'll go over the matchups in full at the end. But first off, let's get into the leader. So Red Gohan pretty much does the same thing that the Yellow Goku from this past set does. When you use a U7 card in a combo, draw a card. So you're not losing hand advantage to combo cards. It makes it really easy to apply pressure and also to defend yourself without sacrificing your hand size. He is a warrior of U7, so we are able to play off-color Universe 7 cards, ignoring their specified cost. We did take advantage of that with a couple of our card choices here. I do want to say, first of all, this list is I think it was French nationals or one of the nationals that happened in Europe. I got this list from there. This is not my own creation, but I would like to go over it, share it with everybody, and talk about how it excels into the meta, because you can only get so much from looking at a list of cards. I'm here to offer the insight to players that might not exactly understand how this deck wins games. Alright, so you awaken when you have a red unison specified cost of 2 in play, or when your life's 4 or less. You go down to 5 life, you untap 1, draw 1. And then on the backside, same thing, when you combo with a U7, you draw a card. Once per turn, you have a Spirit Boost 1 auto where you can remove a marker, obviously, for the Spirit Boost. When you use a red skillless battle card with an energy cost of 2 in a combo, it gets plus 6,000 combo power for the battle. So your 5,000 combo power vanillas now turn into 11,000 combo vanillas. And that's huge when somebody's swinging at you. Like, more often than not, good players are going to swing at you for 25k when you're a 15k leader, because they're not just forcing you to use a super combo, they're forcing you to use another card on top if you want to try to get out of that attack. So that 25k number is magical in DBS. Gohan kind of breaks that rule, because 25k is a number that we can get out of while actually going +1 in hand. So to pressure this deck, 30k is the happy number, and it's a lot harder for decks to manufacture 30k pressure in the early game. So yeah, that Spirit Boost, I use it sometimes on both players' turns. Most often it's used defensively, but there are times I'll swing with a 20k combo of vanilla and pump it up to 31. Now you gotta go to 35 to get out of my double strike. What you gonna do? And then auto, once per turn, when one of your red unisons specified cost of 2 is placed in a drop area. So it doesn't have to be removed by your opponent. If you're replacing your red unison, you still get this effect. Choose up to 1 red skillless battle card with an energy cost of 2 in your drop area and play it. So you get a free 20k vanilla if your unison gets removed. Guy off to the side for now. Let's get into. We'll actually go over the Z deck first, because I know some of you might have been playing this deck with the other Z extra card. So let's talk about this first. We're playing 2 Mighty Blast. Mighty Blast is the best red Z extra. It has 2 effects: either drop a Z energy, pump something 15, or pay a red, draw a card, pump something 15, drop 3 Z energy as cost, and neg something 25 for the turn. A battle card specifically. So, this is sitting in our battle area most of the game. It was quite often that I would use this as pressure to get my opponent down to kill range, and then just play another one after, because it's so cheap for this deck to play this card. We constantly have Z energy. We're constantly comboing. So, yeah, 10 times Kamehameha is fantastic. The alternative was the Universe 7 Z Extra, which I was playing before. And let me tell you, I cut a whole bunch of cards from this deck to get to this build. I had a lot more tech. I had a lot more defense in there. Not necessarily more, but different defense. This is the right card for the deck. Being able to swing with something, pump it up 15, and then just play another one and then go for game. Because these are not limit 1 skills. So you can pump something 15, play another one, and pump something 15 again the same turn. Provided you have the Z energy. Alright. Next up, we have one Defender of Life. We do, just a spoiler alert, we do play Vegito Secret Rare, Light in the Dark Secret Rare. So putting our opponents from 5 to 4 is very important sometimes. And Defender of Life allows us to do that without having to enter the combo step, without having to worry about negates or any of that. Like, Defender of Life just burns them, gives you that free damage. We do play one Evolved Defender as well. This, actually, I never played during the tournament. In testing, there were situations where I was like, this is really, really good, but it never came up. I would still keep it in there because when it's good, it's great. And our final cards of the Z deck are 3 Rush Attack Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I do have the Nats reprint here somewhere. I will be replacing it, but I have last year's Nats Rush Attacks in here for now. This was more often than not my main pressure piece. This was the most played card from the Z deck outside of the Z Extra, obviously. Sometimes on turn 3, I look at my hand, I have nothing else to do, but I have 5 Z energy. I'm just going to play a Rush Attack and force you to answer it. It's just an all-around really, really strong card for the deck. Not much more to say about that. There were matchups, like against green, they have the Z Extra, which pops a 3 or less, so you do have to be careful against decks like that. I did have situations where I would just play it and instantly give it a barrier, so wouldn't have to worry about that stuff. And yeah, that's our Z deck, 7-card Z deck. Pretty standard. Let's move on to the main. We have, starting off, we have 4 Ultimate Essence Son Gohan. Ultimate Essence is our turn 1 play. This is a top 5 searcher for a 4 or less U7 or a red unison specified 2 or less. He also has a limit 1 when your leader card is red. If your leader card is red, when you use a mono red skillless battle card in a combo, draw a card. So this plus our leader is our main draw engine. We want to keep these alive as much as possible. If possible, you want to like hold one in your hand for when they inevitably board wipe your other 1 or 2 that are out, so that you can replace it and continue to keep that draw engine. But I will say, in this list, it's less important to keep this guy out, since we're not playing the 17 and 18 that draw a card when you combo with them if you have a vanilla in the combo area. So if he gets removed, it's not the end of the world for the deck like it would be for some other versions of this leader. So this was a complete meta call. 3 Concentrated Destruction Kaiokens. So Concentrated Destruction, deflect. When you play it, you can KO everything 20k or less on your opponent's board. That would have come up if I drew him into my Android 21 matchup. This guy had the most insane board. Shout out Michael Kano, phenomenal pilot. He dunked on me with Zenkai 21. He played like bonus in, perfect force cell, and then a whole bunch of Android 21 cards, and I just had no answer. But what this is really here for is the activate main. You can tap 2, neg something 25, ignoring barrier by discarding it from your hand. So that is there to deal with the U7 Burn Goku, the Shin Shenron in yellow, and any other barrier threat that we might run into. Otherwise, this was usually the first card sided out. I didn't play against any U7s across. I had the first round buy, so across 8 rounds of play, I saw 0 U7. So do I regret it? Not really, because this card does win that matchup for us. But it was definitely a bummer to build the main for a deck and then just not see that deck at all. We've been talking about them a lot. We run 8 of the 2-cost red vanillas. They are U7s, so you will draw a card when you combo with them. Yeah, not much more to say about that. They're vanillas. This card, on the other hand, I cannot say enough about. Frieza, Pride of an Emperor. This was the best card in my deck the entire weekend. It's a 3-cost double strike. When you have 3 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it becomes a 2-cost in hand. That's great. Auto, limit 1. If your leader is a U7, when this card's played, draw a card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 25 for the turn. So, then the 25 being the number means you can kill pretty much anything you want to in this game. The odd boss monster here and there might take an additional neg to kill on top of this, but we get to play this guy for free. So that's pretty good. We do have another auto on the card. We don't use it. It's for the Arrival multicolor Invoker deck, whatever. I will talk about this card more in a second, but first let's talk about the last of the, well, not necessarily the last, but our super combo of choice is Backbone. We do awaken down to 5 life, so this is instantly live. When it's 5 or less, draw a card, 10k. These, I do use these fairly aggressively. We do effectively run 12 super combos in the deck. So having to use a Backbone to push damage early, or even what I found myself doing quite a lot is on my Awaken turn, I would swing, combo a Vanilla, draw 2, Awaken, and then combo the Backbone to draw another 2. So, like, yeah, you're losing a super combo for that, but your hand is so big at that point that you don't mind being down a super combo. Yeah, not much more to say about Backbone. That's the super combo for the deck. I wouldn't run any other. I've seen people running Raditz in here. I understand it, but searchable super combo is too good. Being able to just pick up a Backbone off of Gohan feels phenomenal. And then we do run 1 Vegeta Royal Evolution, and there's a really broken play we can make with this card. This is a U7, so we will draw when we combo it, and its effect is after we combo with it, we can tap a red, restand our leader, it gets +5 for the turn, and negate all its skills for the turn. So it's just a 1 energy to get another swing out of your leader, which into this floodgate meta is actually a big deal, because most floodgates will still allow, like, if you think about defending friends, if you think about explosive dance, if you think about I don't know, I guess it's just those two, maybe Vegito floodgate as well, I'm pretty sure it says non-leader. So yeah, this is really good, and I'm gonna keep these 2 cards out because we are gonna revisit them in a second, but that is all of our U7 cards. We run, how many do we run? We got 4, 8, 12, 15, 19, 23, 24 U7 cards in a 50 card list. So I never whiffed off of Gohan. This always hit a card. This seems like an appropriate ratio. All right. Let's get these out of the way and continue talking about the main deck. Moving on to some of our defensive pieces. Actually, before we go into our defensive pieces, let's keep talking about our aggression. So one of the core components of the deck, and the card that really makes everything work, is Gogeta Power's Connection. This is a 2-cost 15k unison that when it's played, we look at the top, at up to 3 cards, grab any 1 red card among them, and bottom deck the rest. So we can search our secret rare, but most More often than not, I'm searching this Frieza. Because we have no other way to search this card in the deck, and if we don't have him by turn 3, it's a problem. His activate main +2, so he will have 4 markers the turn you play him. +2, play up to 1 red battle card with an energy cost of 1 from your hand in rest mode. So obviously, our primary target is Frieza. Our secondary target, and the turn we play our unison is going to be Gohan. So we do want to mulligan for 2 Gohans and 1 Gogeta. That's our optimal mulligan. If I don't see either, I'm sending everything back. Nothing in the deck is as important as opening these 2 cards. The -4 is an activate battle. This card gets plus 15,000 power and double strike for the battle. So on my turn 4, a lot of times I would pay 1 for this Frieza rather than play it off of this. Just because I wanted to be able to -4. So like lots of times going into my turn 4, this guy has 6 markers, 5 markers on him. And at that point, he can become a 30k double strike threat to go for game. So I don't want to just +2 right away and sacrifice that. So a lot of times I was holding on to that. I would swing first, see if they negate, then decide whether or not I was going to +2 to play the guy. Here, one of the best... Oh, sorry. So yeah, we talked about the unison. Let's talk about the Frieza. So Frieza plays off of the Gogeta, obviously. It's a 1-cost red card, so we're going to play it for free in rest mode by +2. Frieza on play, choose up to one of your red leaders or red battle cards other than this card, and it gets 5k for the turn. So we play him for free, and then our leader gets 5k. So Awakened, we're a 20k leader now. Then it has swap 2 red Frieza. Guess what's a 2-cost red Frieza in our hand? Pride of an Emperor. So this is how we're playing Pride of an Emperor for free every turn. The amount of value that we're getting for this interaction is insane. We're +1, so we're doing this for free, or +2, doing this for free. 5 on our leader for free. So this is a 20k leader now. Your opponent has to answer it somehow. That's an extra card out of their hand. This is a 20k double strike, draw 1, neg 25. So the amount of just pure value this is providing is insane. And then we swing with it, combo of vanilla, draw 1 or 2 cards, and then Spirit Boost to make it a 31k double striker on turn 3. This is the first thing we're doing turn 3 is 31k double to your face. Oh, you answered it? Now I have all this other stuff to pressure you with still. So this little package, the Gogeta Frieza package, insane. I think every U7 deck that can play this should play this, whether you're running the Supreme Warrior Goku or this leader, or even the Red Vegeta leader. Like, this is absolutely bonkers. It's so much free value. It's the reason this deck was able to keep up with such a crazy powerful meta. Because if you think about it, this is a deck from BT14. This is set 14. We're in set 23 or something now. So I don't even know what set we're in. What set's this from? Yeah, we're going into set 24. So this leader is 10 sets old, and we're still able to make it compete. Shout out Bandai for balancing the games in such a way that we can still revisit our old favorite leaders and make them work. Anyways, moving on to an extremely valuable pressure piece in the deck, Surging Attack Broly. So Broly is a 1-tap. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. He's Critical Servant, so he's a 25k crit, and you can either choose to KO a 15k or less on play, or choose a non-Overlord leader and give it Overlord once per turn for the turn. So essentially, we're playing him for 1, swinging, bottom decking him, and drawing a card. So replacing him in our hand effectively. The reason he's so good is 25k is a number where, or even 30k if we combo a vanilla on top, they might combo out of that number, and that's really good for us. We want them to knock down their hand size, trying to get out of these crit swings. Or alternatively, if they don't combo out, we just dealt a damage of crit for one energy, which is also really good. Um, the in testing actually, I was able to crit my opponent's bursting rage when testing as U7, so that can happen too, which is great. But honestly, just like the amount of the name of the game in this deck is just value, and this card, the pressure it offers and the value it gives, there's nothing else in the game that does it. Um, and these Nats reprints just look gorgeous. Anyways, moving on, we do play. Let's get into some of our defensive tools. I guess we'll talk about this real quick. Let's talk about our C rare actually. So we're playing 2 Overwhelms. 1 Heated Fighting Spirit. I chose Heated Fighting Spirit over Secret Identity because this deck doesn't really have a problem dealing with a lot of small bodies. It's only when you have like a 40k, a 35k, like the Gohan boss monster or something, that we really just want to snipe it away in one fell swoop. So Heated Fighting Spirit's great for that. But our other Overwhelms are Secret Rare, Light in the Dark. I played both in one game. Otherwise, more often than not, I was only playing Vegito because I'm trying to win the game as fast as possible with this deck. It's not an aggressive deck per se, but it is a deck that wants to win on turn 4, turn 5. So yeah, Vegito is an ultimate with deflect, and when it's played, you look at your opponent's hand, discard a card with 35k power or less, and then choose your leader. It gets plus 10 until the start of your next turn. And this card gains Quad Strike. So the Quad Strike is how we sealed a lot of our games. That's why the Defender of Life that I showed you earlier is so important, because we get them down to 4, and we only have to deal. So say we're up against U7, which awakens down to 6. We only have to deal 1 damage that game. We have to get them from 6 to 5. Once that's done, we can set up a turn where we're going Defender of Life into Vegito and just winning the game outright. That didn't come up, obviously, because I didn't play any U7s in the event, but in testing, I was able to do that reliably. To pair with the Vegito, we do have Hidden Ambitions, which is a counter. If they decide to counter with a 1-cost extra card that they didn't pay, that they did not pay cost for, then you can counter with this. I don't think I actually used this in the tournament, but having it there is really good. And the idea behind it, obviously, is on turn 4 or turn 5, you can play a rush attack, you can play a Frieza, you can play maybe a Broly, you can swing with Unison, you swing with Leader. You make them burn all their energy and all their like their once per turn combo with U7 or whatever. Like, make them burn everything and then play Vegito at the end of your turn with 1 energy up. Swing with Vegito, and that 1 energy is either going to be for Hidden Ambitions, or if you don't kill him, we get to just use it for Dance and live a turn. Dance plus the double bean from Vegito means we're not dying. So yeah, that's really good. I think every game I played Vegito, I won. So that's pretty good. Pretty good return on value there. Couple other one-ofs that we do have in the deck. We have 1 Dispo. Dispo is a free negate that we can use for free by spirit boosting for 2. It did come up. I did side a second copy for the more aggressive matchups for Green Gohan, because I didn't want to have to dig for a negate every time they had a swing. So this is really good for that. The 1 Yamcha, obviously, Yamcha's nuts. Yamcha, if we're running a Unison, we should be running the Yamcha. And then the 1 Flight of the Grand Eagle. So I actually did play against Red Vegito one round, and they played their secret rare on turn 3. I won die roll, however, so I anticipated it. I left 3 bodies on board. So they removed one with their leader, obviously, and then they played the secret rare and tapped down the energy that I would have used for explosive dance. But I anticipated that and left the 2 bodies plus the flight in hand, so I was able to use flight for free. Get out of his 40k triple draw 4 rest 4 secret rare swing. Yeah, flight is insane. It's a card that gets better the better you are at the game. So I definitely wouldn't sleep on this card. Just keep it in the deck and look for opportunities to use it. It's usually never a bad card. All right, let's get into our counter package. We are running. I mean, flight was obviously counter as well. So was Yamcha. So was Dispo for that matter. We do have a healthy amount of defense in the deck to keep us alive. But yeah, first off, we got defeating the demon. Unique, double strike, blocker, counterplay. If your leader's red, play this card. Reduces its cost for each Z card in leader and battle area by 1. So it does count our Mighty Blast. And each card in your Z energy also reduces its cost by 1. So you're never paying more than 1 for this card. When this card's played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 20 for the turn. So if you're worried about a 35k boss monster and it doesn't have deflector barrier, this is your answer. Yamcha plus Gohan will delete anything. Or Gohan can put a 40k in range for Mighty Blast to kill it, which is also really nice. Him being a blocker is super relevant as well, because more often than not, they're just going to out him, but they're wasting resources to out him. So they're burning energy that would have been used to kill you otherwise. So even if you don't get to block with him, usually just counterplaying and getting the neg 20 is enough value to warrant tapping that energy. He's also a potential target for Powers Connection. We can play him for 1, or play him for free and neg something 20, if we don't have the Frieza chain in our hand. Or we can just tap 1 and have a double striker on our turn. So I was playing the Goten, Hyperspeed Rush Goten before, as a 1-of, but that card felt greedy. He does draw 1 on play, which is nice, but having this guy do multiple things, because Goten's a 15k as well. So, oh, I lost a poster off my wall. Anyways, Goten is a 15k draw 1. This is a 20k straight up, so effectively the same. But this has more potential utility, so this always feels better. So yeah, 3 defeating the demon. Now, this is a controversial choice. 4 token negates, 4 testing the ops. So testing the ops is a card that has progressively gotten worse as removal becomes more and more free. And obviously I'm talking about token negates in general. Also, going into a yellow meta, these blocker tokens are usually just getting rested before they have a chance to do anything. So I'm sure you're wondering, why the hell are we playing 4 of them? The answer is denying the combo step to certain decks, to most decks these days, when they have a specific sequence in which they want to do stuff so that they can have Z energy to do to make certain plays. Oh yeah, it's like I said about Flight of the Grand Eagle. This is a card that gets better the better you are at the game. Timing this, there were times when my opponent was just swinging for like a 15k single strike, no keyword skills, none of that bullshit, and I'm testing the ops on that swing because I know you don't have the Z energy to do anything else that turn, and you can't manufacture another swing. So, and obviously we awaken down to 5, and our unison is only at 4 markers that following turn. So being able to protect our unison the turn after we play it is another reason 4 of these is a good idea. Um, yeah, not much more to it other than like if they do decide to push through Dance, which is our final card in the deck, 4 copies. If they do decide to push through it and they dump their Z energy with the intention of comboing like a 30k to be able to swing again, you can just deny them the ability to combo again. So like testing the ops, sure, great for stopping an attack, great for putting a blocker out, but most importantly, great for denying the combo step at will. This is a deck where we can combo as much as we need to whenever we need to. We're not worried about using these to keep us alive most of the time, so we can take our life at will to disrupt our opponent's turn, and that's why these are super important. And then the final card, Explosive Dance. If you're playing Dragon Ball, if you're playing Red especially, but if you're playing the card game right now, you know what this card does. It's Nimbus on crack. Counterattack limit 1 if your leader's red, negate the attack. Additionally, if your life's at 4 or less, you have a Z extra in your battle area. When your opponent attacks with a non-leader during their turn, they must place any number of their Z energy cards in their drop so that the total value of those cards' power becomes greater than or equal to X, where the X is power of the attacking card. So, lots of fucking words on that. We're gonna give you the easy version. So, I want to swing with a 40k, right? I have these two in my Z energy. I'm able to drop these two because this is 40, 20 and 20 makes 40. I drop these two in order to swing with my Vegito. Alternatively, I have a 30k and a 15k, so this makes 45. That is greater than 40, so I'm able to use these to swing. So yeah, that's how Dance works. This card kept me alive in the longer matchups. The way you're sequencing your turns is always leaving up an energy for Dance. In the games I didn't see Dance, I was very scared. I'll be honest with you, but like I said, the deck can combo out of pretty much anything, so you are able to live a turn or two without Dance. It's just when your opponent gets to like that 6 energy, 7 energy threshold, they can manufacture a whole lot of aggression, and you don't want to you're good at getting out of like 1 big swing per turn, maybe 2 if you have like Dance plus you combo, but or testing the ops plus combo. So this will stop those super wide turns, especially against decks that struggle to manufacture Z energy, of which I don't think we saw a lot at Nats because we are in a Zenkai format. All right, so that was it for the main deck. Like I said, not my list, but a list that I was able to take to Nats and pilot quite effectively. I am fully behind every card choice in this deck. I don't think there's anything I would change. It's a strict 50. It does what it wants to do very effectively. The flex spot, I guess you could say, would be the 3 Kaiokens. In this meta, they're a must into U7, but in other metas, these could become any number of tech cards to suit whatever we're dealing with at the time. Okay, let's go into the side, and then I'll go over matchups. All right. Side deck. So starting off, we have a second copy of our counter and a second copy of our free negate. Blue decks, green decks, even like any deck I know is using a free 1-cost extra card negate, I'm gonna side this in for, because quad strike plus counter is pretty broken. Not much more to say about that. This was for the aggressive matchups. I would side this in against Green Gohan. I think I sided it in against Red Vegito as well, just to have another negate in the deck. Because even if you don't have a unison, you can just tap 1 and negate with this. So good for that. 1 peel off the cunning. We have to respect Zenkai 21. Like I said, one of my losses was to Zenkai 21. Cunning wouldn't have helped me. I did play Cunning in that matchup. It did not help me. This deck, if Zenkai 21 gets the ball rolling, this deck really does have a tough time against it. It would probably be this deck's toughest matchup in terms of the meta. And part of that is because I made a very, very silly choice going into the event. I cut Gallic Cannon from the side deck for Golden Frieza and Android 17 Determined Tag Team. Again, I was expecting primarily yellow at the event, U7 Goku to be specific, and their floodgates of choice are usually Flying Nimbus or Forbidden Power. This is a 20k triple attacker that gets around Flying Nimbus and Forbidden Power. So I figured, yeah, really good choice. This card should have been Gallic Cannon. Gallic Cannon, on paper, I was like, why is Gallic Cannon in this deck? This is a lackluster card. I don't want to play Gallic Cannon in my side. I'm going to cut it and play this. I didn't test against Zenkai 21. Zenkai 21 on turn 2 is playing their Z card, which is a 2-cost 10k crit. No deflect, no barrier. Gallic Cannon's phenomenal against that card. If I had Gallic Cannon, I might have had an X2 record. But I'm not mad at how I finished. Can't ponder on the what ifs in life, so just if you build this deck, don't play this. Play Gallic Cannon. And our final one of in the side deck is Turning the Tide. So yeah, it's a blue card, but we have the Warrior of U7 tag. We're able to just tap 7 red and play this card. When you play this card, choose all cards in your hand and your opponent's hand and all battle cards in your opponent's drop area. Shuffle them into their owner's decks. So we get them to 3 life or something. Swing. Or play him. Return hands to deck. Swing for crit. They go from like 3 to 2. Swing with Unison. Double strike. Or crit them from 4 to 3, swing leader, put him from 3 to 2, Unison plus the extra card is going to be like 45k double strike. This never came in because I didn't play against any matchup that it would have been good against. But I was hoping to play against Cooler Mill so I could side this in and just sit on my Unison plus this. Speaking of Unisons, we did side 2 of the Unison of Might. This is a set 10 Unison. Costs 4. Activate Bane, draw a card, choose up to 1 mono red battle card, energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. That's cool and all. But the -2 is what it's really here for. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, if your opponent would play a battle card using a skill, it is placed in their drop area instead. So you play this card, you -2. U7 can't play any of their cards. Frieza or Cooler Mill cannot play any of their cards. Anything except Zenkai 21 is going to struggle immensely into this card because most decks are not hardcasting their cards. Another card we ran 2 of that came in quite a lot actually was Violent Rays. Against Green Gohan, this card is nuts. Against Red Vegito, against what else did I play? I think that's it in terms of what I would side this in for. But I did play quite a bit against those matchups, so something to think about is what matchups Violent Rays is good against and when you want to use it, because using it too early can also be pretty bad. For example, I had a game against Green Gohan where I had to use my first Violent Rays on the Vegeta crit swing turn 1 because I missed my 1-drop, and this was my only turn 1 play, and I didn't want to lose even more card advantage to a crit. So I had to burn a Violent Rays like that, and then he sniped the other copy out of my hand with King Vegeta Unison. So that sucked. Good job, Brian Samuel, former national champ. He mollywopped me with Green Gohan. Actually, no, it was a close game, but yeah, I lost to Brian Samuel, I lost to Michael Kano, and I lost to Khalid from I think it was from France. All three phenomenal players, played to perfection and kicked my fucking butt. Next up, three Deborahs. Deborah is for the green Gohan matchup. In that matchup, it's super weird. You're leaving up 2 energy every turn because you want to be able to dance them and Deborah them every turn. In the green Gohan matchups where I was able to or in the Gohan matchup where I was able to do that, I won. The matchups where I wasn't able to do that, I lost. Our final card of the side deck, 3 Broly Crown of Retribution. Broly Crown, again, one of those cards where on paper it's pretty good, but the better you are as a player, the stronger this card is going to be for you. I played against Zenkai 21 immediately after losing to Zenkai 21. I sided in this card again, and I actually saw it in my second game against 21, and I played it on their turn 3, I think. They had 4 energy, and I look at their hand. They did not have the secret rare at that point. Me knowing they didn't have the secret rare won the game for me because I was able to change the way I was playing my turn and spam the board with stuff with the knowledge that my unison wasn't getting wiped, that my battle cards weren't getting wiped. Sure, if they drew into it or searched it the following turn, tough luck, but they didn't have speedy substitution in hand. They didn't have any draw cards, and I'm pretty sure I pitched a super combo off of it. So they lost a Bionic Blitz, and I kept a card in hand because of it. So Broly Crown, sleeper good. We cannot play this off of our unison. It was errata. We do have to hard cast this card, but it's like having more copies of Vegito in the deck. Peeking at our opponent's hand is broken. That's one of those things where the better you are as a player, and I'm sorry to keep referencing this, but this is a very skill expressive deck. It's not a deck where you can just do the same thing every game and hope it works. It's a deck where it's very good at adapting to any given matchup and using its toolbox to solve the puzzle effectively. So yeah, Broly Crown, big part of that. I was hesitant to include this at first because I was like, when am I really going to be using this? But I played against 3 blue decks out of my 8 matchups. So yeah, that speaks for itself. Speaking of matchups, let's go into what I played against. So round 1, I had the bye. I did win, or I did get top 16 in a regional. So I got an invite, or I wasn't top 16. I think I got like, I bubbled out, but I got a passed down invite or something. But yeah, earned my invite playing Cooler Mill. So I was given the first round bye. My first game of the day was Yellow Majin Vegeta. So Yellow Majin, I was able to bait out the board wipe and then play Vegito Secret Rare afterwards. So that was a fairly easy matchup. And the guy I played against, he was like, I haven't played the game in months. I won my invite a while back playing this deck. So I figured I would just come and bring this deck. So I respect it. Like, he wasn't being super sweaty about it. So that's cool. The following round 3, I played against my first green Gohan of the day. And oh man, this was a close match. The deck is not easy to beat by any means for my deck, but it is beatable. And the funny thing about our game was that I did not see my secret rare until like turn 5, turn 6. Every other game, or most other games, I saw it like early on. So I was able to structure my patterns of play around the fact that I was going into that secret rare. in this Gohan matchup, he was playing very good defense. He had the King Cold floodgates, he had dormants, he had uneasing. So pushing through Floodgate City is nearly impossible without that big quad strike to actually finish him off. So I would have to pass turn a lot of time, a few times, understanding that like, oh, I can't kill him right now through this floodgate. What ended up happening is I drew so many cards that I went into my turn 7. Sorry. Went into my turn 7 with 1 card left in my deck. So any effect that drew me a card I could not use, any U7 card in my hand I could not combo with. So I had like a 7 card, 8 card hand, but half of those cards were Universe 7 and unable to be comboed. So that was in that game. Actually, Mighty Blast was the MVP because I fired off 1 that turn and then played another one and swung with Unison for game. But I did have to win with 1 card in deck. That was a super close game. Round 4 was Green Gohan again. This was Brian Samuel. I did psych myself out going into this game because my buddy told me that Robbie Reitz was playing a list that wasn't focusing on discard at all, so that the Deburas your opponent sided against you would be dead effectively. So I was like, oh, if Robbie's on that list, there's a good chance Brian might be on that list too, because I know top players tend to share their lists and lab stuff together. I was wrong. I was very wrong, and I missed the hell out of Deborah in our matchup. He was able to hand control me pretty well and go for he didn't have to like go for game. He just like, I had to pass turn with 2 cards in hand, and he was just like, yeah. I scooped it up at that point. But yeah, that was my first loss of the day against a former national champion. You can't be mad at that. I kept my head up. I kept my chin up. I kept going. And then I matched into Red Vegito the following round. I described how I used Flight of the Grand Eagle to get out of his triple strike attack. I was also fortunate that he did not see Explosive Dance against me. So that matchup became pretty easy to navigate once I knew I wasn't going to be floodgated. Well, I didn't know I wasn't going to be floodgated, but once I swung and he didn't dance me, I was like, all right, this is good. Just push him in from there. Round 6, I matched into Khalid on Green Gohan again. And I don't entirely remember how our match went, but I just remember he played it very well. And I think... Oh, okay, this game, my last life was... Either my last life or second to last life was my secret rare. So even though it was a fairly even game, not being able to see my secret rare definitely swung it, and he was able to see his. So I lost that one. So 2 losses to Green Gohan going into round 7. I matched into Zenkai 21. Michael Kano's Zenkai 21 to be specific. That deck is terrifying. He plays Perfect Force Cell. I got Perfect Force Celled. I actually had to. I asked him. I told him I'm gonna give you the game because he had the game won. He was gonna win next turn anyways. But I was like, I'll give you the game, but I need to take a picture of this board state because it was the most obnoxious board state I had ever seen. He had like 10 battle cards out, 3 or 4 of which were big double strikers. He had Bunison, which had lived 2 or 3 turns. It was just like everything went his way that game. I had no hope. And in that game, my secret rare was my last life. So that was a tough loss. That was X3 for me. So that was a loss that took me out of potential top 16. Tough stuff, but shout out Michael, great guy, great player, kicked my ass, well played. Round 8, I matched up into another Zenkai 21, and let me tell you, I sat down fully expecting to lose this game. Um, Not having Gala Cannon was definitely a mistake because my opponent was able to. She ramped with the 2-drop. Was like when I played my secret rare, she had 3 energy up, so she played the counterplay, tapped my secret rare plus the 3 energy to rest my secret rare. So lots of bad stuff happened. But Broly Crown gave me the vital info to structure my gameplay to where I was able to wither away at her resources and go for a game with I think I went for my unison or something. But yeah, that was pretty good. It felt really good to bounce back and get a win against Zenkai 21 after getting absolutely dumpstered by it. So yeah, that was my round 8. And then the last round 9, was Blue Gogeta, Aegis Gogeta. So unluckily for him, my deck by default kind of just deletes all of his cards. Everything he plays is 25k or less if it's not the boss monsters, which are 35 and 40 respectively. So the 25ks would just die to Frieza, and the boss monster died to a combination. So the first boss monster, you could just go Yamcha plus defeating the demon, kills the first one, and then the secret rare, which he didn't actually end up seeing his secret rare in our game. But if we really just like need to out the secret rare, we can go defeating the demon plus Kaioken. So it's a 3 energy play, which is pretty hefty, but it's outing their secret rare and denying them the restand and stuff, because we don't have to enter combat to get either of these negs. So yeah, this was nice to have an answer to Gogeta if I needed to answer the secret rare. But I played Light in the Dark against him. I played Vegeta over him. Looked at his hand. He had already Aegis that turn. He was tapped out. He had 2 Keflas and a little bit of combo power. I had nothing to worry about. I just swung. I counted it out. He had like 90. He could combo up to 90. I went to 95, and the writing was on the wall. I ended 6-3. Great event. Couple hiccups. I mean, there was an issue with the buys, which was a little obnoxious, but we were out of there by 6:30 in the afternoon after starting at 10 o'clock, so I'm not mad at that. Playing best of 3 last year and going until 11 at night was a marathon. I was fortunate to get to buy one of those rounds, and I got food last year, but like for those that just like toughed it out and played through the whole day, that was miserable. So this year felt a lot better in that sense. Battle Hour was sick. Seeing all the Dragon Ball fans come together in that big convention hall was super dope. Everybody was super nice. All my opponents were very respectful. There was not a single interaction that felt negative to me. It was just a great weekend. I really do hope that next year we will have another Nats for Masters. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank y'all for tuning in and listening to me talk about one of my favorite decks in the game. And I hope to see you again soon. Enjoy yourselves, take care, and be good to each other. Peace.